Yeah, so today's presentation is mainly for the Facilities Plus iPhone app, but I just want to let everybody know that the functionality and whatever is available in the iPhone app is the same thing which is going to be available in the Android app. So we won't probably have a different session for the Android app. It's so you can consider this like a Facilities Plus mobile app product update presentation. So in this, we'll be basically looking at the three main pieces of functionality which is available in the Facilities Plus app, and I'll give a quick demo of the application. I can share my screen where I can cast my iPad onto the laptop, and since the laptop is shared, screen is shared, you should be able to see the app, how to use it, and all that. So let's first look at why we actually built this iPhone app and why we are working on the Android app. So most of you are probably already familiar with the mobile app available for maintenance, one-site maintenance. So that app was built using PhoneGap, and PhoneGap is kind of a framework for building mobile apps. And the problem with the PhoneGap application is that it stops working whenever there is no connectivity, internet connectivity for the user. So let's say he's working out in the field and he doesn't have a signal for some time. He won't be able to, the maintenance technician won't be able to use the application anymore. And also a lot of functionality, or the new functionality which is coming in for the latest versions of iPhone and Android, they're not really possible with the PhoneGap application. That's the reason we decided to go native. So by native, I mean that we are using the components, and the way we write code is the standard way of creating an iPhone app and an Android app. So this application is a native iPhone application, and this has three modules. So the first one is inspections, the second is service requests, and the third is either make ready or turn carry. So based on this setting, a property, a PMC on the site actually has either make ready or a turn carry enabled for it. So you don't have both, you always have one or the other. So the next thing is, so I've kind of covered all the stuff mentioned here. So let me go into the service request and I'll give you a quick overview of what we have here. So the service request module is mainly used by maintenance technicians. So they are the main users for this application, and they can view at the service requests which were created in the desktop version. Like whenever people log in with their laptop or their desktop and create a service request, that service request can be viewed in the mobile app. If a maintenance technician wants to create a service request while in the field, he can do that. He can also modify service requests, and if he wants, he can track the work on a service request. So he can start the timer and see how much work he has done and record the time spent and all that. So all that is possible with the mobile app. And coming to enabling this for our customers, it is the exact same process which we have been following so far for the old application. Like you have to go in and enable the centers for that PMC or the site, and then add the user as a maintenance technician. So it's exactly the same steps. In case somebody is interested in finding out the exact steps, I can document them and send it over later. So that is the service request module, and I'll be doing a demo. So, but before I go there, I just want to run through the other two modules as well, and then I'll start the demo. Yeah, so the next module is the inspections module. So this is the new module for OneSite. So I believe that OneSite desktop also did not have the inspections module earlier, and that was added recently, like a couple of months back. Similarly, for the mobile app, this is a new module which is not available in the older maintenance application, maintenance mobile application. So with the inspections module, maintenance technicians can do inspections for the properties and for units. So they can walk in, do a move-in or move-out inspection, or let's say they have a pool check. They need to finish as part of pool check. or a fitness center check, they can go through those tasks and complete them. And and the properties or the units, I'm sorry, or the properties of the PMCs can actually create templates for inspection. So let's say for a particular property, they always go through the 10 standard steps for a move-in inspection. So you can have them create a template, and that template can be used to create an inspection for move-ins or move-outs and so on. And as part of the inspections module, the maintenance technician can also take pictures of things which need repair or something is completed and he just wants to capture the proof of something being fixed. He can take a picture, and all those pictures are attached to that inspection. And once the sync is done between the mobile application and the database, all the pictures are sent into the database, so they can be accessed from the desktop as well. Another interesting thing with the inspections module is that it's very tightly coupled with the service request module. So let's say a maintenance technician is doing the inspection and he notices that a doorknob is broken. So as part of the inspection, or actually after the inspection is done, he can immediately create a service request for the thing which was found to be broken. So he just takes a picture and then says create service request, and the service request is created for that particular item. And finally, coming to enabling inspections on the Facilities Plus mobile app. For this, for a particular property, the inspection center needs to be enabled, and that's how the inspections module will work on the Facilities Plus mobile app. Okay, so that was the inspections module. So let me now go to the final module, which is the make ready and turn carry. So, there's not a lot to explain about this. I can actually show the demo and show you how this works. So I'm sure that most of you are already familiar with the make readies and turn carries on the desktop. So it's just possible to do these things on the mobile app now. It's a little more user-friendly. So that's what is the last module. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast my iPad onto the screen. So we'll see some weird things happening for a while. So here's Josh, can you see the iPad screen now? Is it being shared?
Yes, everybody should be able to see that.
Okay, perfect. So I just opened the Facilities Plus mobile app. So this Facilities Plus iPhone app is actually available in the App Store already. So anybody can just type in Facilities Plus by real page and they should be able to find the app. And once they download it, they can use the same login credentials which they use for the desktop application. But for this to work, a few centers need to be enabled. I don't know the exact names of those centers, but I can send out that information separately after the presentation. And now the screen which you guys are looking at, that's actually the screen which comes up once a user has logged in and then has closed the app. So let's say I'm a maintenance technician, I log in and I work for some time on the app, and then I just close the app and do something else. Once I come back, instead of having me log in again with all the information like the username, password, and the property ID, I just need to enter this 4-digit PIN code and I can access the application. So I'm just entering my 4-digit PIN code now. And this is the dashboard screen, and we have the service request open. But let me start off with inspection. So if you look at the bottom, so that's the navigation bar, and the first icon there is for inspections. So let me point it out with the mouse. So this one is inspections, and I've clicked on that now, and the list of items you're seeing here are all the inspections in the system. And what you can do is you can actually filter the inspections by who they are assigned to. So actually, whether they are assigned to me or they are assigned to somebody else. So currently the filter is by all. So all the inspections shown here. If I select mine, you see that there are no open inspections because there are no inspections assigned to me. So let me go back to all now. And then the other thing which you can do is you can sort inspections using the various criteria here. So I won't go into each one of them, but you can probably play around with those things. And finally, the fourth thing on the top, fourth link called sync. So that is for syncing the data between the mobile app and the database. So the sync can be slow sometimes. So let me just show it to you. I'll click on that now. And now it's just telling you what all it's doing. And it's doing the sync. And because I don't have too many inspections, it was pretty quick, but sometimes it can be pretty slow. So if you are doing a demo for the customer, you might want to avoid doing the sync during the presentation. You might want to do it before or completely after the presentation. And yeah, and in this particular dashboard for inspections, I can also create an inspection. So on the top, you have the plus sign. So I click on that. This is a plus sign I'm talking about. So I can click on that. And it lets me create an inspection. I can select the location. Let's say it's a unit. And then I can select a template. So I was telling you about a template, right? So here I have two templates already created in the system. So I'll select move in, move out. And assign to technician. You can leave it as any technician, or you can pick a specific technician. If you pick a specific technician, that maintenance technician should be able to see that inspection in the dashboard when they filter by mine. So if they select filter by mine, they should be able to see that inspection there. And now I'll click on create inspection. So this is the inspection now. And let me walk you through some of the important things here. So let's start from the top. So the small blue circle which you see here, that basically means that this inspection has not been synced with the database. So whatever information you enter here will not be visible to the desktop user till you finish the sync. So that's what that symbol means. And 0% is basically to tell you that you haven't completed any of the tasks which are part of this inspection. So to show you the task, let me, I'll have to start inspection, but before I go there, I just want to tell you about the other things here. So photos, 0, you don't have any photos attached to the inspection yet. So once you start the inspection, you can add photos. Notes are also something which you can enter. And contact Mary Jones. If you actually click on Mary Jones, it shows you the phone number and the email address for Mary Jones. And then created and due by are the things which you can enter. So let me click on start inspection now.
Puneet, there's a couple of questions. One of the questions from Veronica is there a limit to how many templates?
No, there is no limit to the number of templates. You can create as many templates as you want, and people can select those templates while creating an inspection.
Okay, and Joe Kurd also has a question. Any plans for inventory, or is that still on hold?
So we are planning to work on inventory, but it's not on the short-term roadmap. We definitely do have it on the roadmap, but it hasn't been scheduled yet. So I don't know the exact dates when we'll pick it up.
Okay, and also the old app is no longer available. However, can clients purchase this app without inspections, or are we only offering the full application?
Yeah, so the clients can purchase this without inspections. And the old app is actually available in the App Store, but we don't want to sell that anymore. So any new customers who come in, they are being actually sent to this application. But yeah, people can definitely use just the service request module. I mean, without inspections, they can definitely use this application. Any other questions?
There's also, we have clients that have purchased inventory, so we will need to keep the older version available.
Okay, so we are not actually moving the older clients out of the app which they're already using. We're still continuing to maintain that and do bug fixes and all that. But any new functionality which we build will actually be in this app instead of the old app. So, I mean, we'll definitely build inventory, but like I said, maybe not immediately. So, for the existing customers, yeah, we can still continue to have them on the old app. Does that answer the question?
There's also the question, is there the ability to operate both apps at the same time or download both?
Yes, it should be possible. I mean, I've tested out both the apps on the same device, so it should be possible. But we didn't do a lot of rigorous testing with that, so I can't really tell you if there'll be any issues. But as far as I know, they should be able to use both the apps at the same time on the same device, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Yeah. So going back to the inspection, so I clicked on Start Inspection and it asked me to select a technician. So here I just click on that and I can select one of the technicians here. So let's go with Bob Baba. And I click on Start. So while I was speaking to you guys, the app closed, so it asked me for that pin code again. So I click on Start Inspection. And these are all the tasks which are part of that move in, move out template. So this is something which Bob Shikawa created some time back. So these are predefined tasks for the move in, move out template. And the way a user can complete this task is by, like, once he goes into the unit, he takes a look at the doors and locks, let's say, on the exterior. And if the doors and locks look fine, he just drags the item to the right. So if it is good, he just stops at good. But if he thinks that it is fair, he drags it a bit more. If it needs repair, he drags it all the way and then just leaves it. So let's say the doors and locks need repair. So I've marked them as needs repair. And if I want to take a photograph, I just drag the whole item to left. So if I drag to the left, you can see three things here. The first one on the left, on the rightmost side is the photo. The second one is to add notes, and third one is to create a service request right from here. So first, let me take a photograph. So this is the camera, and I'm taking a photograph. It's just processing, and on the bottom you see one here that shows that one photo has been attached. So let me do one more photo now. So two photos have been attached, and I click on Done. And it should have two photos here. I can add a note. Okay, and then I just go back. And this item now shows that there is a photo attached to this particular task, and the note is displayed here. So that task has been completed. Now let's go to the next task. The building exterior looks okay. I mean, it looks good, so I just leave it at good. And then I go to the living area, and I see that all these things are fine. So instead of going to each one of them, I can just drag the living area bar, and all the items under it can be marked at once. So instead of good, I'll just put them as fair. It asks for a confirmation. I say yes. And now I've completed the inspection. All the tasks are complete. So what I do is I click on End Inspection. Now it asks you, do you want to submit the inspection, or if for some reason you're not able to do the inspection, like a certain room was locked, or there was a dog because of which you couldn't enter or something, you just reschedule inspection or cancel an inspection. So let me do Submit Inspection. I can ask for a confirmation. And now this is the place where you can create a service request. So two screens previous to this, I showed you that you could create a service request right from the task, but you can do it after the inspection is completed as well. So let's say you had 3 items which needed repair. So instead of creating 3 separate service requests, you can just create a service request. Doing it 3 times from the previous screen, you can just start that service request creation from this screen. So I'll click on yes, and it pulls in a lot of the information related to that particular item, such as doors and locks, needs repair, and all that. I click save, and the service request is created. And now I click on done, and that inspection is completed now. So now if I click on sync, so actually there's a sync happening in the background, so that's why it's saying that I need to wait for the sync. But once you click on sync, whatever data has been entered here and whatever has changed in the mobile application will be synced with the central database, and all this information will be available on the desktop as well. So any questions so far on inspections before I go to the service requests?
There are a couple of questions. One of the questions is there a place to track the time?
For inspection, no. I mean, I think it's usually time tracking done for service requests. So for inspections, we haven't added that. But if a lot of customers are actually asking for that, I think that should be something we can add.
Okay, and there's also, from a couple of people, there's the question asking if this will require the document management center in order to upload the images. And if it does require the document management and the client doesn't have it, will the take a photo image still be available on the app to take photos, or will it just not be selectable or something like that?
So document management is required for this, and if the customer doesn't have it, then I'm not sure what will happen if you take photographs. I just know that it won't work, so I don't know exactly if it will disable the photo functionality here or if it will just not do the sync. I'm not aware of that. I don't think we tested out that particular use case. But for it to work, yeah, you need to have document management center enabled.
Also, are there any plans for incorporating the ability for residents to electronically sign off on move-in and move-out inspections?
Yeah, that's on the roadmap. I mean, it's not there in this particular version, but yeah, it's on the roadmap.
Okay. And is there the ability to bill damage back to resident ledgers from the app?
No, we don't have that, but that's probably a good thing to add. Yeah, I'll add that to my list of enhancements for future versions.
Okay.
So does it usually happen after an inspection, or is it after a service request is created and you work on the service request? So when does the bill to resident actually happen for issues found during an inspection?
Hi. Quick question. So regarding the bill back, typically when you're closing out a work order in the facilities tab in one site, scan bill back, you're completing the work order. And I understand that there was a release a couple months ago in the old app to be able to bill back. So you're saying it's not available?
Yeah, so I'm actually not very familiar with the bill back thing. I can check with Bob Ishikawa and get back to you on that. So here, what happens is once you finish an inspection, if something is broken, you create a service request, and it is possible to bill the resident for a certain service request, but I don't know if that is the same thing as what you're asking, like bill back. I don't know if bill back is same as bill the resident.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that is available in this app, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so now I'm on the service request screen dashboard, and you see all the service requests here, and let me kind of walk you through the things that you're seeing here. So the first thing on the actually just below the date is the priority. So the more the stars, like the solid stars that you see there, higher is the priority. And the time which you see here, like 1 minute, that's basically the amount of time that has been recorded for this particular service request. So let me open up one of these things. So I'll open the third one which says main building. And this is a service request. And here you can see that it records the time spent, and it tells you about what the issue was and which item the issue was related to. So I'm guessing you guys are already familiar with the service requests on the old app, so I won't go into too much detail for each thing. But basically the way it works is user can just click on start timer, And here you can select, do you want to build the resident or not? And I'm guessing that this is what people were asking about earlier. So I can select build the resident. If I click on it, it turns green, which means yes. If I click on it again, it turns gray, which is don't build the resident. I can select a technician. I click on start, and the timer starts now. And you can actually go back and complete other service requests while the timer is running on something. So let's say you have 2 or 3 service requests for the same unit. You can just go and start them one after the other and finally close all of them together. That's possible as well. So going back to the main building, service request which I just opened earlier, I click on stop timer. They report time spent. And I need to select what action was completed here. So let's say I installed a new lock. At the bottom you can select if you want to mark this as completed or not. So mark it as completed and click done on the top. So that basically marks that item as completed. And now you see this small blue circle. So that is what it means that this service request hasn't been synced. So to sync it, I just click on sync. I can't click with the mouse or iPad. So I clicked on sync. Yeah, so this is what I was telling earlier. Like you might want to avoid doing the sync while doing a presentation to the customers, because it sometimes takes quite a while. Okay, so that sync is done, and the item which you worked on, building 2, is no longer visible here. So that's basically been archived, and you just see the incomplete service requests here. And the other stuff like filtering and sort and all that is very similar to what we saw for inspections. And you guys can just try it out yourself later. And yeah, you can create a service request right from here. So let's say you're walking around as a maintenance technician, you're walking around the property and you see something which needs to be fixed. Just click on the top plus icon and you can fill in the information here and just click on create service request, and that service request is created here. And yeah, and once the sync is done, everybody who's using the mobile app should be able to see that service request, not just the person who has created it. Yeah, so the last module is the make readies or the turn carries. So for this particular property, I have make readies enabled. So turn carries are very similar. It's so make readies will just have turn carries. And the dashboard is very similar to what we saw for inspections and service requests. You can open individual items and complete them. Or what you can do in the mobile app is actually to turn the iPhone into the landscape mode like this. You can actually see the different make ready. So, yeah, you can see the different make ready items here. So like for unit 47, these are the different make ready items which need to be completed. You can just click on one of them and you can click on start timer to spend time on it and finish it. And once it's done, click on save, and that will be marked differently here. So it'll come up with a green circle with a tick mark. So that's how you can work on make readies much more quickly by just turning it into a landscape mode and getting like a full view of all the tasks for a certain unit. Now turning it back into the portrait mode, and now you're back into the dashboard. So that was a make ready. So any questions on that?
There's a couple of questions that popped up just as you started back on this one. One of the questions was asking if the bill back is based on rolls or write.
I actually don't know the answer for that, so let me write it down and find out.
Also, there's a question asking what the lightning bolts mean to the left of the service request.
Yeah, so the lightning bolts actually mean that they signify the priority. So the more lightning bolts you have, higher is the priority. So for example, the one for April 8th, that has lower priority than this one here. So it just means the number of goals signify the priority. So the last icon at the bottom, that is the settings screen. Once you click on that, settings open up, and here you can see that you can change the property. So let's say you're working on a certain property for a PMC, and the same maintenance technician goes to an adjacent property for the same PMC, then he can just click on change property and he can select the different property. The pin code which we saw earlier, like as soon as I opened the app, it asks for a pin code. So you can change that here, you can log out. And actually the other things are pretty self-explanatory, but the important thing here is actually sync over Wi-Fi only. So under other, you see this sync over Wi-Fi only. So this is something which is actually pretty important because based on our discussions with maintenance technicians and some properties, what we realized is a lot of maintenance technicians either hesitate to use their data plan for this, or they don't have good connectivity to be able to do the sync whenever and wherever they want. So to kind of solve those two problems, we have provided this sync over Wi-Fi only, which when enabled, so if I just click on that, it becomes green. So when it's enabled, the sync will only happen when there is a Wi-Fi connection. So that way the maintenance technician doesn't have to use his own data plan. So that's something which a lot of people seem to be interested in and ask about. So when you're doing a demo, this might be a good point to share. And yeah, so these are some of the settings. And so any questions on this?
So in the student make-ready board, you're only able to have 5 categories on the turn board. I noticed in your demo environment, it looks like the conventional make-ready board where it's customizable and unlimited. How does that apply with student?
I don't know the answer for that, Veronica, so I'll check about this as well with Bob. So let me know if I've got the question right. So you're saying that student make-ready boards allow just 5 categories, but we seem to be having more than 5. So how does that work for student make-ready? Is that the question?
Yeah, it's a color-coded turn board, and there's only 5 columns.
Okay, yeah. I'll find out and I'll send out the reply.
Is there a limit to how many items can be on the move-out inspection?
No, there's no limit.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Hey, Puneet, this is Paul. I just had a quick question. The old application showed color coding for priority status if something was emergency or overdue. Is that no longer an option in the new application, or is that what the lightning bolts are replacing?
Yeah, it's no longer an option. So it's the lightning bolts which show the priority now.
Great.
Yeah, I think actually a couple of people now seem to be confused about that. So maybe the next version we might change that. But currently, that's what the lightning bolts mean.
We used to get a lot of questions about people wanting there to be like a ding or a sound when a new work order came in, and I understand the app had it at one time, and then they got rid of it. Did you guys bring it back, or is it still on silent?
Yeah, it's still on silent. This new one doesn't have that.
Okay. What about Spanish capabilities?
Does it have an alert at all that pops up on the screen?
Yeah, there are no alerts for new service requests or work orders.
And is there any Spanish capability?
No, not yet. No.
Okay. Thanks.
I've had a few clients ask me about GPS tracking within the application. Is that something in the future that we're working on as far as tracking maintenance technicians?
Yeah, so that's something we have been discussing. So we haven't added that to the roadmap yet, but we are definitely looking into that and seeing like how many people actually want that and if it makes sense for the long-term strategy of this product. So yeah, we are looking into it, but we don't have it on the roadmap yet.
Okay, thanks.
And what about, at one point y'all were going to roll out, I guess it was called like workforce optimization, where you could track the employees' time, they could clock in and clock out. Is that still on the roadmap? Or?
Yeah, so we are actually looking at something similar to that, but something which probably solves the same problem. Like we are trying to look at creating leaderboards and showing which maintenance technicians have been most efficient and who are doing a good job. So that kind of solves the same problem. It doesn't actually measure how much time a maintenance technician has spent or how long he's active and all that. But that's a different approach to kind of solving the same problem. But yeah, we haven't finalized it. The discussions are happening at a pretty high level. Steve and others also involved in that. So once we know more, I can share it with you guys. Anything else? Okay, so looks like there are no more questions. So thanks a lot, guys. And as far as I know, I think this presentation as well as this video of this demo is probably going to be available for you guys. But if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. So my full name is Puneet Yamparala. I'll just share the slide with my name. So yeah, feel free to reach out to me and I can answer any questions you guys might have. If I don't know the answer, I can find out from Bob.